fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you're working on and work alongside while I chat. Or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today, I'm going to be working on my spangler that I'm trying to finish, both for DP for Pets and also for this quarter for my spangler. As you can see, I have not made very much progress. I've been working on the shaman one instead, so I'm going to switch to this one for this whip and chat, see if I can make some progress on this one, and then I'll probably switch back to the other one. So let me zoom into where I'm going to be working, and I will be right back. All right, I've got my timer going. I've got my drills here. I'm going to start with some ABs here that I'm subbing in, and let me jump into my life update. What's been going on in my life? Not a huge amount, kind of another quiet week for us. So Monday, they came and got the chaise part of our couch. Like I told you guys, they're supposed to be repairing it so that wherever the fabric was weak, I don't know if they're going to reupholster the whole thing, if they're just going to fix where it was ripping, I don't know. Hopefully we will have that back on Monday is when they're supposed to deliver it, because our couch is basically a love seat and it looks really pitiful and small right now. So hopefully, yeah, we'll get our regular couch back and it will look like our couch again. Hubby and I actually toyed around with the idea of moving around some of our furniture and seeing what it would look like. But then we decided, nah, we're actually pretty happy with how it looks right now and how comfortable the couch is, where it is, and all of that stuff. So we decided against moving it around. Hubby's one of those that every 6 months or so he wants to move furniture around just to change things up a little bit. I don't mind doing it, but I don't need to do it. But we decided against it. We're still trying to find a recliner for the little corner. I'm currently sitting in a lawn chair as I diamond paint in that corner. Eventually we'll find a recliner that we like that doesn't cost us an arm and a leg. But for now, what we have is good. At least I can sit down there and diamond paint and I don't feel like I've been relegated to another room. Sometimes it's nice to come up here and diamond paint, but I do most of my diamond painting in the room where hubby is. So what else went on this week? The youngest fell and broke his glasses. His glasses are those kind of rimless ones where it's like a wire around the outside of it so you can't see the frame on the bottom. And his glasses are kind of old. We had them repaired a couple weeks ago. He knocked them off into the floor and the wire, the little, it looks like fishing line filament that holds his lens in place broke. So we took it in and got it fixed, but I really do need to get him a new pair of glasses. He and I have both been suffering the last 2 or 3 days, and again today, with migraines. He had to wear his contacts because his glasses were broken, which he's not used to doing, so that gave him a headache. And we've had lots of rainy weather, and whenever the barometric pressure changes, my head just goes bonkers. I also tried to do some shopping for my nephew's birthday. He is an avid collector of Legos. So I assumed, as he usually does, he would be sending me a list of Lego sets that he wanted. So when I asked him to send me his birthday list, all I got was a bunch of Funko Pops, which he also collects. So not that those were unexpected, but there were no Legos on them at all. And I said, "You don't want any Lego sets?" And he informed me that he already had all of the sets that he was really interested in, and there wouldn't be any new ones coming out until August or so. And I thought, I mean, it makes sense that they have a release schedule. It never occurred to me to wonder what the Lego release schedule looked like. I guess more power to him that he's collected all the ones that he wants. Although the Funko Pops are hard because lots of people collect those. They are hard to find. And generally the ones that he gives me are ones that I can't ever find. And especially because right now with us here, basically I was going to have it sent to him to his address in the United States so that I didn't have to worry about shipping and whatnot, but I can't find the ones that he wants on Amazon. So I got a hold of my daughter and asked her to go look, thinking she would go look in the stores to see physically what was available. And then I told her I would just send her the money for it. She apparently missed the memo where I wanted her to actually go look in the store. She was just looking online and she's like, "I can't find any of them." And I'm like, "I could have done that, That's why I asked you. I know you can't find them online. I tried that before I contacted you. I don't know what we're going to do. His birthday is past, but usually the last several years my family has taken to basically waiting until close to the end of June, somewhere around there, mid-June, and then everybody gets together and we just kind of do everybody's birthdays all at once. Just because it's always so hard to work out everybody's schedule so that everybody can get together. And even then, sometimes my brother can't make it or whatever. And obviously, I won't be making it this year. I'd like to. We'd like to take a trip, but I don't know if we're going to get everything planned in enough time for me to be there for that. So it may be July. Definitely would like to get down there before school starts again so that I could spend some time with my daughter while she's not working and she's off for the summer. She was trying to find a summer job but didn't have any luck, so I think she's just going to do some volunteering this summer, which is part of the reason my brain is mush today. I actually went to my first volunteer meeting today. I found a group that I was interested in volunteering with, so I went to their first, well, my first meeting. It's not their first meeting, obviously. My first meeting where I met everybody and kind of listened to them discuss how things work and what goes on and all that kind of stuff. And it was interesting, but just a lot of information to take in at once. So I was kind of glad they're basically kind of taking a break for the summer. So the next meeting won't be until sometime in August, which means I have time to kind of wrap my head around everything before I am expected to just jump into things, which is nice. But I think it will be fun. It was a nice way to get out and meet some new people. One of the guys was telling me that he does a lot of volunteering. He said his whatever his job was, he didn't say and I didn't ask. When he was working, he said I worked 12 to 14-hour days every day and I worked 7 days a week. And he said when I retired, there was a couple that was basically the same age as him and his wife, and they retired at the same time. And he said within 2 months they were old because they were just sitting around not doing anything. And he said, I looked at my wife and said, I'm not going to do that. And so he volunteers with like 5 or 6 different organizations, including the one that we were at. And I told my husband, there is something to that, just sitting around all day, every day. We were discussing some things that we wanted to do. My brother in law wants to start cleaning out. My mother in law on her property has several old barns that are basically falling down or very close to, that he wants to go through and salvage anything that they can salvage and then get rid of a bunch of it. A lot of it is like really old farm equipment back when it was a working farm that doesn't work anymore. It's all rusted and unusable. But someone might like it for like a vintage antique or something. So he wants to go through everything, but it's just too much for one person. So I told my husband, we should go up there and help him out, take my son with us, and we can all do some cleaning that my mother in law isn't really physically able to do anymore. My husband has some stuff that he stored there back before he moved to the States that he needs to go through. And I was like, honestly, you haven't needed it for the last 15, 20 years. It's just been in storage in your mom's house. You need to just throw it away. He probably won't, but he did volunteer to let me be there to supervise to keep him from keeping too much stuff. So I guess that's some progress. Because I told him when he started talking about it, I'm like, all of that is not going to come back to our house and live. We don't have the space. And honestly, isn't that what they tell you when you're organizing a space? Things that you're not sure you want to let go of, put them in a box and then put the box away, revisit in 6 months. If you haven't opened that box in 6 months, don't open it again. Just donate everything because clearly you're not using what's in it. And I mean, that doesn't apply to like seasonal things like clothing and those sorts of things. I was actually just thinking the other day, I've really never had to do like seasonal clothing storage, that sort of thing, because, well, I suppose I just had enough room in my closet, but I mean, it just was never super cold here. But when we moved here, I kind of got rid of most of my summer clothes. Like, I didn't realize until it started getting warmer here that I don't even have a pair of shorts that I brought with me. I brought all of my sweatshirts and my cold weather clothes, but I didn't really bring any warm weather clothes. And while it's not 110 degrees like it is back home sometimes, it certainly has been warm here. So I do need to do a little bit of clothes shopping and get some warmer, cooler items for the summer so that I'm not so warm walking around in long pants and long sleeve t-shirts, which is a switch for me because typically I'm always cold and my husband is always hot. It seems to have reversed since we moved here. Everybody's out gardening. We were discussing once again all of I thought it was cotton flying around. We have a lot of cottonwoods in Kansas. It's the state tree. And we had all these little pieces of cotton floating around. I'm like, are there cottonwood trees here? I didn't think they were this far north. And we finally decided it's not cotton from the cottonwood trees, it's all the dandelions, because nobody cares about having dandelions here. I mean, people mow their lawns and everything, but nobody's super, I don't know, upset about having dandelions. Like in Kansas, if you had dandelions, everybody was like, here's the weed killer stuff you can use on them to get rid of them. Here, nobody really cares, which is nice, I suppose, but it does make for a lot of dandelion fluff floating around in the yard. It rained again yesterday, so hubby was going to go out and mow, and then, oh darn, it rained, so he couldn't go out and mow. I did buy a couple of hanging flowers for some petunias and some pansies to hang from little hooks on our front porch. But whoever lived here before planted some really nice, there's a tree out front, and then there's like some of that tall grass stuff, which we didn't cut down because it was buried under snow. So we didn't know we needed to cut it. But there's also some plants coming up. I don't know what they are yet because nothing is flowered. One looks like a bunch of hosta plants, but then other ones are actual flowers. I just don't know what they are yet. Hubby and I went the other day to Canadian Tire just to buy some gardening things. We didn't have a rake. We didn't have any gardening tools. He has started some little seeds that we bought for herbs, for some cooking herbs. So he planted some of those and put them on the kitchen windowsill. But while we were at Canadian Tire buying those things, I was looking at some of the seeds because I want to get a raised garden bed planter and plant some things. So I bought some radishes and onions for my husband, some bell peppers for my youngest, and I also got a couple of things of lettuce because we eat a lot of salad and I would love to grow my own lettuce. And I found some sunflower seeds. So out in the front where the other flowers are, I'm going to plant some sunflower seeds. So hopefully later this year we will have some pretty sunflowers. That will be a nice little reminder of home for me. There were several different varieties, so I spent some time looking at them going, which ones look the most like the ones I'm used to seeing at home? Because some of them have like a really dark, almost black inner circle. Some of them are kind of brown. Brown ones are the ones I remember seeing the most, so those are the ones I got. I don't know what the variety of them is called, but definitely want to get some of those planted soon. Probably should have done it yesterday since it was raining. It didn't rain very hard. I probably could have been out there, but I was exhausted after peopling at the meeting, so I'm just not used to it anymore. Although I have apparently turned into someone who, as anxious as I am, with all my social anxiety, I've turned into that person who doesn't know when to shut up and leave. I guess I've started babbling in my old age. I call it rambling on here, but babbling sometimes. Anyway, I apparently did the same thing the other day when we went and had our teeth cleaned with the hygienist. Both my son and my husband were like, I can't believe how much you talked. And I was like, great, now I feel self-conscious about it. Did I talk too much? I'll try, next time we go, I'll try to be quiet and I won't say anything. And my husband's like, no, 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 we were just surprised. And I was like, but you made it sound like it was a bad thing. So now I'm all self-conscious about it. Can't win for losing. All right. Did anything else interesting happen in my regular life? I don't think so. I mean, it's just life, groceries and cooking, and not that we've been doing a lot of that. I eat a lot of salad, so I don't really consider that cooking. It's more like assembling dinner, I guess. I assembled my dinner. My son and I were talking the other day on one of our walks because when we first moved here in November, it was getting dark at like 4:30, and then sunrise was like 7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere around there. Now that we are in summer, it's light at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's light until like almost 9:30. And he's like, Mom, why is it so different? We only moved like 10 miles from where we were before. And I'm thinking to myself, what is he talking about? And then I realized he was talking about the rental. We're only like 10 miles from where our rental was. And I said, yeah, but the seasons have changed. So now it's summer. The days are longer, of course, just like they were back home. He thought it was mostly due to daylight savings. And I said, no, I think it's the fact that we're much farther north than we were in Kansas. And so it's just different how it works. It is kind of interesting to try and go to sleep. I mean, he has a blackout curtain in his room, but that doesn't block out all of the light. And I do find myself waking up a lot of times way before my alarm goes off because it's getting light in our bedroom, even upstairs with our curtains. Yeah, sometimes I've been up late the night before and I don't want to be up that early. So, anyway, I've also been daydreaming. I told my husband I want to either enclose our porch with some kind of like mosquito netting, or he wants to get like some kind of pergola or something for the deck off the back of the house. I want a porch swing. I want some kind of a swing so we can sit out there, but I want something that has some sort of cover so we're not getting eaten alive by mosquitoes or stung by bees. The bees here are way bigger than the bees at home. The bees at home are like little honeybees. They're little, and yes, they're yellow and black striped, but they're almost like a gold color, and the stripes are really thin. Here, the bodies of the bees are big and furry, and they have big, like pale yellow stripes. They're not like a gold color. I don't want to put any pictures up. I don't like looking at bugs, and I don't want to go out and explain and find pictures of what I'm trying to say. So if you know, you know. But anyway, I'm allergic to bee stings and wasp stings, so I try to maintain a polite distance whenever we see them. We lived in a house one time where our garage door did not close all the way, and wasps were constantly getting in our kitchen through the garage. That was not fun. My kids were little, so of course I had to be the I am mom, I will save you, because they were scared to death of them. They're also allergic. Not go into anaphylactic shock allergic, but just allergic that it swells up a lot and it's super painful. I remember getting stung by a wasp as a kid several times. It was not fun. Anyway, so many tangents already. Bees are different here, and it has not, mosquito season hasn't started here yet. Although I guess around here they call them black flies instead of mosquitoes. Same difference. I think they're smaller than what mosquitoes were back home. But my husband assures me it's all good because there are no chiggers here. He was constantly, when he worked in the States, just every summer getting eaten alive by chiggers, and he didn't understand what they were. I think honestly he was allergic to them because he would get big bites, and I'm like, I've never seen them swell up like that. And how much of that was him being sort of allergic and how much of that was him scratching when he shouldn't, who knows. You know, when I was a kid, you got a chigger, you painted over it with some nail polish, went on about your life. I don't remember it itching as badly and getting as bad as some of his did. Anyway, we were watching a documentary the other day. It was about a criminal case in Oklahoma, and the author was like, nothing worse than chiggers in Oklahoma. And my husband's over there going, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I'm like, you're such a big baby. Chiggers aren't that bad. I'd rather have a chigger bite than get stung by a wasp or a bee, which my husband didn't mind. He's outside constantly up on the wires and stuff working. He's like, we had bees all everywhere all the time. Wasp nests, hornets' nests, that kind of stuff doesn't bother him. But the chiggers do. So I guess everybody has something. Anyway, so yeah, kind of a boring week, but boring is good. Boring is uneventful, and sometimes that's what you want. So I think that's everything I wanted to tell you about my regular life, what's been going on in my diamond painting life. Well, probably more this month than other months because the DP for Pets has started. So huge thank you to everybody who's participating in the Diamond Paint Along. I'm actually having a lot of fun just seeing everybody's photos and how everybody's progressing, and everybody just seems way more laid back and like they're having more fun. So I'm actually really looking forward to doing this again in August. I can't wait to see what everybody's going to do for the flower theme. I need to figure out what I'm going to do, but just having a good time with it. Like I said, I realized my rabbit could count for that. This canvas can count for pets, and so can the one I actually pulled for the event. So I'm having fun doing that. I think the flower one in August will be fun. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was, because I had mentioned before that the next theme would, if we did them every other month, would fall on October or in October. And I know a lot of us, myself included, will be planning to do drills and chills. And I didn't know if you guys wanted to just continue and we'll just do a Halloween theme, or what we wanted to do. And somebody had a great suggestion, which I think is awesome. So thank you, Jen, for the suggestion. And that was just to have October be a holiday themed. That way, if somebody wants to do their DP, if somebody wants to do their drills and chills kit, they can. That's Halloween is a holiday. If you have a Thanksgiving one that you wanted to do, that is also a holiday. Or if people are working ahead and making Christmas presents or something for somebody and they have Christmas kits that they're working on, then that could be something they could work on too. So it'd just be kind of a catch-all for October. And I thought that was a really good idea. So leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. Does that work for everybody? That seems like it gives everybody the most leeway. Again, these are just diamond paint-alongs for fun. You don't feel obligated to join. I know everybody always has a ton of stuff going on in the last quarter of the year with all the holidays. It seems like after Halloween, it's just this mad rush into Christmas season. So sometimes I think Thanksgiving gets missed. Although I'll be here for Canadian Thanksgiving this year, which is in October, so I guess my schedule will be a little bit different. But anyway, like I said, I am planning on doing drills and chills, so if we want to just do something like that where it's a holiday, whatever, I'm fine with that. That works for me, so let me know what you guys think. Also, that would give people an opportunity to maybe work on more than one kit if they had multiple things they wanted to get done that were holiday themed, whatever that holiday would be. And I mean, I don't even care if we're just going to call it holiday themed. It could be any holiday. It doesn't necessarily have to be those three at the end of the year. Crafting is always what about Hobby Lobby and those places are always about 6 months ahead of everyone else when it comes to things so that you have enough time to actually craft something. So yeah, well, let me know what you think. I think it's a really great idea. It gives people a lot of leeway because like I said, I don't want to make them stressful. And I feel like so far DP for Pets this year, with it just being a paint along, seems like it's way less stressful and more fun for everybody. So I'm all about that. Also, I wanted to mention, even though it is a paint along this year and I'm not doing prizes and all that, don't forget, part of the reason I started doing this event was to raise awareness about pet shelters who can always use your help with this event. There's always your local animal shelter, your local humane society, whatever. If you can make a donation, they would certainly appreciate it. I need to look up what's local here to me and see how I go about doing that since I'm not in the States anymore. But I know that any and all donations are appreciated, so if any of you can do that, that would be awesome. I actually learned something really interesting the other day. I watch a lady who lives on Svalbard Island, which is an island in the Arctic, and there's a lot of rules about what you can and can't do on the island because there are just certain things that, because they're protecting the tundra and the wildlife and everything, that, for instance, cats are banned on the island. You can have dogs like sled dogs and stuff, but there are no cats allowed because the cats are too hard on the local bird population. They kill too many of the birds, and some of them are endangered already, so no cats allowed, which I thought was interesting. And there are other things. I know they have to be wary of polar bears. In the summer, when there's no snow, they're not allowed to drive vehicles or snowmobiles on the tundra. You can walk, but that's it because you're not allowed to damage the tundra. It's pretty interesting. I would love to go there and visit and see what it's like. Right now, they're having their, what do they call it, their midnight sun. The sun never really sets for the next 4 months. That has to be very interesting. I don't know, wonder how that messes with your circadian rhythm. Anyway, I'm getting off track again. Okay, so I covered all the stuff about DP for Pets. Thank you to everybody who's participating in the paint along. I hope you guys are having as much fun as I am. I'm, like I said, really getting a kick out of all the postings in the group, in the Facebook group, with everybody's pictures of what they're doing. I haven't posted very many of mine, but I just forget. I get started diamond painting and then I forget, oh, I should take some pictures of this. I did take one picture that I posted because I was working on my shaman kit. And the symbols, it's an R, capital R, and a capital N. So it's not that the symbols are similar, but they're both the same color. They're green letters on a white background, and they're right next to each other. They're both supposed to be browns, and so they're right next to each other because there's a lot of shading. And I'm like, you couldn't have made like one or the other of them like red or something so it was easier to see. My eyeballs are old, so sometimes telling the difference when they're the same color, it just would have been easier for me if they were a different color. So what else has gone on? I did finish my snowman, and then I was completely embarrassed because someone pointed out that there was a section where I had missed like 5 drills. And I normally go over and check all of that kind of stuff. I don't know how I missed them. Like I put a light behind it and look to see if I missed any drills before I do all of my filming, and somehow I missed those. But I did go back and fill them in, so whoever mentioned that to me, thank you. He is now truly fully complete. I did go back and put all of those drills in where they were missing. And then I finished the little rabbit one, which was the art dot one. I'm probably going to do another one of those. My husband ordered some stuff on Amazon because he needed some things, and I didn't realize the Forever Young set was still in the cart, so he thought I wanted it, and so he just ordered it, so it's on its way. So I may do some testing once those arrive, since those should be the transparent trays. I may do some testing with my art dot trays still too, but definitely the tray bricks were not something I'm going to use on a regular basis. We'll see how it goes for the rest of these. But it's extra motivation for me, not only to try and get these extra kits done, but that adds to my finishes and stuff. But I do find it, several of you commented, oh, if it's frustrating, don't do it. It is frustrating sometimes, but I don't mind doing it because I'm having fun experimenting and learning things. And if that means I can save you guys some of the headaches of, ooh, this did not work for me. And again, we all work differently, so just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean necessarily that it won't work for you. But I like sharing my thoughts and what I think about things, so I'm not trying to come off as a martyr or, pitying poor me because I have to do it. I'm doing them because I want to. Even if I get frustrated doing it, that's okay. That's part of the learning process, right? Okay, what else has been going on? I finished the rabbit, which is going to go down as a June finish because I finished it on June 1st, even though I was trying to finish it in May. And I'm hoping that I finish both this one and Shaman. So I'm going to have a couple of weekends where I'm just pretty much, that's all I do on the weekend. I think I have a couple of free weekends coming up, or at least if I can't do it all weekend, I can get in some dedicated time during the week so that I can make some significant progress. I have one row done already on the Shaman, and it's going way faster than this one. It has a lot more multi-placing so far, at least. I think once I get into the horse, it probably will be a bit more confetti and it will slow me down some, but so far this one seems way more confetti heavy than the Shaman. But I'm also doing a section that's background on the Shaman, so we'll see. This one, obviously, I'm making progress on, but slowly. But it is nice to get to multi-place, even if it's not a ton of multi-placing. Because some of those art dot ones, I couldn't really multi-place at all, so this has been a nice switch. And then I'm probably going to work on a couple of squares just to, because I think I'm rapidly approaching that point in my stash where pretty much everything I have left is going to be squares, so I need to just bite the bullet and do some squares. And again, it's not that I don't enjoy squares, I do, it's just they go slower for me. But I have some other things coming up, so maybe this would be a good time for me to work on some squares when I've got some other content planned that doesn't necessarily include me just working on things and finishing them. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just to change it up a little bit, keep it interesting, right? I really like some of the colors in both of these kits. There's a lot of purples and pinks in the Shaman kit, and this one so far has been like pinks and grays and browns. So two very different color palettes, but I like both of them. And all the ABs. I'm having fun with all the ABs too. So did anyone buy any new releases from Diamond Art Club this week? I've gotten to the point where I don't even necessarily look at them for any of the companies anymore while I'm trying to get my stash down. I've occasionally gone and peeked at Oraloa because I'm still waiting for that artist to do a winter one for my travel series. No luck so far, but I keep holding out hope. And I do get emails from Dreamer Designs. Usually, I get the emails from Diamond Art Club too, but usually it's like, yeah, none of those are really screaming at me. Dreamer Designs has been the same way lately. They did a mystery box, and it was like 4 kits for $170. I don't know if that was US or Canadian. I don't remember. But anyway, I was like, that's not a terrible price for 4 kits. And it does say they will ensure that you didn't have any duplicates, but it was like a 1-day sale or something. And I left the email there because I was like, I need to think about this. Do I want to go and, but I resisted. So did anybody see that? Did anybody get that? I like it when they have those sales. I need to use up my Diamond Art Club points, and I just haven't found anything I want to get yet. Several of you said that you didn't buy anything when they dropped the 50 kits for their anniversary sale, but several of you said you wish listed some stuff, so maybe that's what I should do. Go back and wish list some stuff so when it restocks, I can use my points and get it. Just haven't done it yet. Ooh, these blue ones are so pretty. I don't think I've used these yet in this canvas. These are really pretty. I really like this color. What is this? 138. Have to go look up the conversion to see. Thank you to everybody that commented on yesterday's video. I told you guys I'm always late to the party because I'm not on Facebook. I'm not in their VIP group, so I guess that's where they drop a lot of their stuff. I did find a conversion chart, although it's not really a conversion chart for those colors. It just lists the 6,000 numbers and then the Pantone colors, so it's not really like a DMC conversion kind of thing, which is fine, whatever. But I need to update my conversion charts, so I will be doing that. That's why I bought some of these newer kits, because I've done several kits that had the fairy dust, and I've done a kit that had the glow in the dark, but I've never done a kit from Diamond Art Club that had the crystals or iridescent or whatever they call them. And I've not done any from Diamond Art Club that had the electro metallic ones, whatever they're called. So that's why I'm working so hard to get my stash down so that I can get some of these older ones out of the way and done. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I'm not having fun working on them. I am, but just so they're not hanging around in my stash. And then as I buy stuff, it'll be less of a stash and it'll be more of the things that are new and updated. So it won't be hopefully as gappy, or I'll have all the newfangled stuff. Anyway, I really like those blue ABs. Those are pretty. I missed a P there, so I need to go back and fix that. I missed an 8 there, so I need to go back and get that. But sometimes it's like, seriously, like there's this one upside down T. Why just one? Why not make that whatever this color is here? Why? Crazy how the charting works out sometimes. I do like that you can actually read short story here, though. Usually when they try to do writing like this, it never turns out very well. Okay, so I made some pretty good progress finishing up the little teacup here that he's drinking out of, even though I missed a few spots. So I'll go back and finish those up, and hopefully I will have made a bit more progress by the time you see this kit again. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about doing a holiday theme for October. If the consensus seems to be that that's cool with everyone, then that's probably what we'll do. And then I can have another poll for, well, the next one would be December. So I'll have to have a think about that. Maybe we'll skip December and we'll just do January and start in January again. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for sticking around to the end of this long ramble. Hopefully it made a little bit of sense, guys. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.